All right. Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of animated awesome. And we are going to be reviewing the next four episodes of Speed Racer, which happen to be episodes 14 through 17. Only four episodes this today. It is Monday. That is Cartoon Series Review Day. And before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about these episodes or the series or even Japanese animation in general. I always appreciate good comments. And I always appreciate comments. So, having said all that, if you can watch just a little longer than usual, I'd really appreciate it. It helps out the algorithm. And are you ready? Drop that checkered flag and let's roll. Okay, so our first episode is The Desperate Desert Race, which in Japanese was called The Desert Race of Death. Shi no Sabaku Resu Race. Zenpen, Part 1. First aired July 2nd, 1967. So, of course, the 17th episode aired July 23rd, 1967, for 4 weeks in a row. What a surprise. Okay. So there we are. The gang is getting, the Mach 5 is getting put on a gigantic airplane, which has several cars on it. I mean, look at those props, 1967. They are going over to the Flat Hill Country for a desert race. So right as they're getting it on there, then first they do look for Spritle and Chim Chim, and they fooled them. Or do they? They say, be careful with the Mach 5. Trixie tells them it's a very expensive car. And then this other guy, Kim Jugger, and his car, the Black Tiger, show up and bump the Mach 5. The dubbing says it's smashed up, but it doesn't even look scratched. So they have their introductions here, Kim Jugger, and he's very imperious, so you can probably guess. So they load it up, and then they're going to Arabia and Sandoland. And Trixie doesn't even want. Trixie's jealousy comes into play here in all four of these episodes. She doesn't even like Speed talking to the flight attendant. They're called stewardesses then, but and now we see this strangely this girl with a baby doll walking along. This girl looks very familiar, doesn't she? Off they go. And here's a strange man. I thought that was Inspector Detector at first, but I am wrong. And then guess who? So Spritle's dressed in drag, and Chim Chim's dressed up as a baby doll, cross interspecies, if you will. They see this guy planting a bomb on the Black Tiger. Chim Chim attacks him, and really, he's lucky Chim Chim did not bite his face off. Chimpanzees are stronger than people, even at their size, and can be vicious. So there's a story about it from either The Most Dangerous Game or Chang, one of those early RKO movies where they had a live chimp and he went crazy on the set. I read about that in The Making of King Kong, but you don't want to mess with them, period. So Chim Chim is either just young, but still, this guy's lucky. But look at the blood in a children's cartoon. All right, watch your step, please. And now they're there, and they catch him, and I think they think they did some, what do we want to say, positive punishment on the two brats. The bomb blows up the Black Tiger. Kim, finds Spritle's slingshot long before Bart Simpson, but long after Dennis the Menace. He says, he blames Chim Chim has got a temper on him and attacks Kim Jugger. They have Chim. Excuse me. I'm allergic to chimpanzees, I think. Speed and Kim have a fight. Speed beats him. But then a strange host of guards show up on camels, and off they go. Puba, the fabulous capital of Sandoland. And they crash. He gives them the Flat Hill country. So Speed, says, I don't need to blow up anything. I can win fair and square. Everyone knows that. Sometimes the dubbing overdid the exposition. But there he goes out to find Kim and talk to him in the desert. He gets trapped in a sandstorm. Oh, he's with Trixie. But even his wheels. But look what happens. So they have a chase here with camels chasing the Mach 5. Apparently, the Mach 5 has an unlimited, it must be a fusion car because there's no way it would have to have run out of gas at some point. Oh, and guess who's in the trunk? So there we have a thing. So everyone meets and they want to see Kim. And the Flat Hill gang is telling them they want to save the country. And there, and that is Ali Ben Schemer. Once again, Peter Fernandez to the rescue here. And so things are moving here. This is like a very international sort of incident ready to happen. Burn the Mach 5, and that's where we leave to go to part 2. What of Ali Ben Schemer? Desperate Desert Race, part 2. Fortunately, the Mach 5 does not get torched. There's another fight, and then let's see, that's Noble Gallant maybe. Yeah, that's General or Gallant, who comes out and says, I think that's Jugger's dad, Kim's dad. The Flat Hill government is corrupt, and they're the rebels. So, and guess what? So they let Speed go. These two talk. And they're going to have a race to determine who gets to go. And they give him this good luck charm, or is it? Off they go. Go, Speed, go. Spritle actually says it. And then, of course, Ben Schemer turns on Gallant and takes him under control. And they're racing. Guess what's in the bag? A red scorpion, the most dangerous kind of scorpion. Now, anyone who knows scorpions, as we've talked about in the Black Scorpion, I'll link it at the end of the episode. The bigger the scorpion, their poison is not nearly as, poisonous. I know you're not supposed to use a word to define a word, but the venom is not as poisonous because they use their strength rather than their poison to kill their enemies or their food. So, and there's Kim racing. He's got one too. So they're out to kill both of them. So now we know that Kim is not really as bad. He might be, self-centered, but he's not as bad as you might think. He warns Speed. They jump out. They mush they mush both scorpions. So apparently they're not endangered species. But gee, many Christmas. Yeah. I've been around a big old black scorpion, emperor scorpion. Damon Foster had it at G-Fest 2000. And that scorpion must have been used to him. But Damon's been stung and bit and done all sorts of things in his life with animals because he loves animals, and good on him. But he also had a tarantula. They were going to be entered in the model contest, but I think there was some rule about not having live animals. I think he would have won. Anyway, they decide they're going to finish their race. For some reason, Spritle and Chim Chim are out in the desert, and I don't think the vultures want to eat them because they'd throw up. They're all sugar. They start hallucinating. They see a mirage. They swim around. We find out. But this man, who is General Abdul Noble, comes and rescues them. Well, I guess he is noble. These two become friends after the Black Tiger sinks. They take off. They get rescued by Noble as well. Tells him what's going on. And he wants him to save his dad. And I think the Prince Omar. And they got to save Trixie because she's in the dungeon. And she hears this voice talking to her that sounds so nice and romantic, and she forgets about Speed in like 5 seconds. So there you go. They go back, and Kim rescues Trixie. They rescue the prince. Well, Spritle and Chim Chim rescue the prince. Now, we haven't seen his face, so older eyes, even probably if you were 10 or 11, you would know what this prince is not going to look like his voice. But A bunch of the baddies fall into a crevasse and die. So the race is about to start, and off we go. And there's Prince Omar, who's wearing lipstick. But apparently Trixie decides he doesn't want to doesn't want to marry him. So the race is over, and we're about to start the fire race, part 1. But we're going to stop for a bit of a test here. If the test survives, I'll tell you what it was. You'll know what it was, and I'll tell you why. But if it doesn't, well, it'll just be a mystery until it shows up eventually. Probably maybe tomorrow even, because that movie's short. So, the Fire Race Part 1. Japanese title is the Underground Inca Race, Inca Chitai Race, Zenpen Part 1, and Kohen is Part 2, which are things I did not know until just recently when I figured it out, because I am the smartiest. Okay, so the League of Countries are bossing around Chief Zuma, the representative of Kapetapek, because they want them to open up Kapetapek to other nations. And he's like, we don't want strangers in our land. Screw you guys. And he says, if you win this race, then we'll have them visit. But if Kabbalah wins, it's their racer, then they'll keep our borders. Now, this is problematic, obviously. Remember, it was 1967. This is probably based on one of the manga of Speed Racer. And things were different back then. Views were different. I think now it probably wouldn't be done this way. But, Kapetapek is not even a real country, as far as we know. So Speed gets an airmail letter. He's been invited to Kapetapek to race in the race. And there's 100 of the racers going to race. 99 plus Kabbalah, 98 plus Speed and Kabbalah. And they tell Spritle and Chim Chim they'll have to stay home. We know how that's going to go. And there is Kabbalah himself, and not Kabbalah. Kabbalah, that's Kamala. Never mind. The Ugandan giant, Ugandan warrior, as Bill Watts always said. There is his rather sinister looking race car. They talk about all the accidents that happened during his races. They're in South America. Somewhere near the Amazon, because he's fallen in the water. Driver yelps. The diver gets eaten. They don't show it, of course, but those are piranha, which don't really do that very often. Anyway, then they stowed aboard again. Spritle says he should be spanked. Now, read into that whatever you want to. So there they are. And look who's here. Secretly, Speed Racer's older brother, Rex. Racer X, that is. There's a weird ceremony, and now the grandfather says that whoever wins the race will get to marry his granddaughter. And she's like, nope, I don't agree to that, but she does as soon as Speed shows up. And Trixie is very jealous. That green-eyed monster shows right up. And this is Mr. Kadar, and he wants to be her bridegroom. And there she is, and I don't remember what her name is. Sabina. Yes, Sabina. So just lovely shots here, though. I mean, you just got to love the way these just look so different than what we were watching with and I love Hanna-Barbera and Filmation cartoons from this era, but they didn't look like this. So it was nice. You get a nice variety is the spice of life, as Doug Moen used to say, or at least the letters call him in Godzilla, the Marvel Godzilla said. There she is. And Kadar wants him. Speed rescues her, and he punches through that column. Speed has Unagi, and a powerful punch. I would almost say he's preternaturally powerful, but he's just a race car driver. And they walk off together. And Trixie is, yeah. So there they go. Fire races. Start your. So there's really, it's a beautiful cartoon. This episode is. She's so mad at both Spritle and Sparky for not knowing why, but she tolerates the princess because she knows, apparently Speed's a hunk. Speed doesn't know because he's clueless because he's a boy. So this is what made, I was thinking it was very unidentified. It could be any jungle, but the ziggurats here, the temples here look very Incan, South. So there they are. And this guy, he's the one that really wants them to open up. And they're like, nope. And you know that Corrine did both voices and she made them both sound different. And she got Trixie's frustration over really well. So it's such a great cartoon. I mean, it's definitely not for kids, no matter what the dubbing tries to suggest. Because this is probably one of the most violent ones. Race for Life, Kadar there, and they're saying he's not even there. And they have to go 160 miles an hour just to get out of the tunnel because they're underground while the volcano goes off, as you can tell. There he is, Kabbalah of Kapetapek. I just like saying Kapetapek. It's like saying Oconomowoc. And it goes off, boom, everyone flies. She's like praying for somebody. I wonder who. Well, one car's dead. So one guy's dead. Will the Speed reach the end of the race in time? Fire Race Part 2. And apparently the Mach 5 is also fireproof or magma proof. Gets out. That's just a lovely shot of the Mach 5. And he's like, visitors, well, goodbye. And they all stop right there because it's water. And Speed asks Kadar if he's seen the wrecks, and and he immediately says, "Do you think I did it?" That's not a sign of a guilty conscience. So we're down at least 3. A whirlpool, and something cool comes out. It says it roars, but you can tell it's just stone. But they got to go through it to get out, and then it starts crumbling, and it kills one more guy. So now we're down at least 4 or 5 racers out of 100. Zoom. So he thinks it's cool, but this weird plant grabs the Mr. Kadar's thugs. But apparently they get out. I don't think all of them did because they set him on fire. Speed makes great use of his buzzsaws, and he gets out. And there is the treasure of Kapetapek, which is what Kadar is after. It's going to be mine, 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 mine. I should have gotten a. He's comfortably well off. The Daffy doing that. Speed interrupts. Another fight breaks out. And oh no, we find out that Kabbalah is really Racer X. So he tricks him, drops him down there, and they take everything. Now they have loaded their cars down. They don't even care about the race anymore. And we don't even know what gemstone. It looks like pink kryptonite now, doesn't it? And Kadar swallows it to get it out. Jeez. We know how that's going to come out. Pun intended. And look at all. I mean, jewels and gems and gold especially, obviously, is not light. But Speed and Racer X find a way out, and then Racer X fills him in that Kabbalah taught him how to drive mountainous roads. He wrecks, and then he's returning his kindness. So they have a bit of a disagreement, and Speed uncharacteristically tells him he's racing to win. That's all. So everyone's there, ready to leave because the chief Zuma is ready to, and this was long before that game was done, is sure that Kabbalah will win. There it is. And they're zooming along. See, and now another wreck, another couple wrecks. And now he's belongs to me. Chanting. Okay, so Spritle has he's bribed a kid, although his change is right there. So he's not really in drag, but they're going to do the old pitting the pendulum thing on him. And once again, he weasels out of it. But Kadar is trapped in the magma, but he won't leave without the treasure and gets buried alive in lava, in magma, and dead. D-E dead. That's the and Speed is not at all. He's not moved by it. And then right there, this kid that he got traded his food for or something gives him out, and there he goes. And now they're driving through this tunnel, which has got, giant ribs in it. Something was there. That must be the whatever they saw originally. I don't know if there's any monsters in this show or not. We will find out together because I've only watched it all the way through once and I don't remember all of the episodes. A great shot of them coming through sideways. So they both win, essentially because they both survived. And yeah, how many racers will never race again? And there's only 2 left. So 98 people died in there because he says there were 100 of us to start with. I'd recognize him anywhere. No, you wouldn't. He's Racer X. And they say, you two have got to work something out here. So it's like, okay, well, diplomacy. And they do. This whole thing could have been avoided. But really, nobody should be saying you have to open your borders at all to other countries. Whoa, no wonder Sabina got Speed's attention there. Poor Trixie. I don't think Trixie's quite that gifted, but there's the little boy that helps Bridle and his pet alligator. Yeah, I would say alligator if it's maybe a caiman down south. I don't know. They all wave. They're buddies now. On his way, racing to a new adventure. And he says, and he's looking at Sabina when he says, someday I'll come back here again. Yeah, a girl in every port there, huh, Speed? So those are our 2 episodes. And if you're wondering, this year is Space Coast's 60th anniversary as well. Sorry, Lil. But I just wanted to see if I can get away with putting that in there because I'd like to use it when we do review the first series. So, Slime People tomorrow, which will be fun. And until our next assignment, are we going? Let's go here, music. There we go. Until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
From caves and sewers come the slime people. To kill, kill, kill. There is no escape from the slime people. The slime people. Nothing can stop the horror of the slime people. For a new adventure in terror, live through the wild bloodbath of the slime people. With lust they come, with vengeance and murder. See the nightmare of the slime people.